So, hi ma'am, good day. Money siyang akong report. Assets, the left-hand side, defined as resources controlled by the enterprises as a result of past transactions and events and from which future economic benefits are expected to flow the enterprises. Fixed asset, non-current assets, these are the asset that has a relatively long life. So, this kind of asset is magamit mo siya for the long time. So, diri na belong ang property and equipments. Tangible assets which are held by an enterprise for use in production or supply of goods and services for rentals to others or to administrative purposes and are expected to be used during more than one period. So kani siya nga mga asset is tangible which is magamit pwede mo siya hantod kung kanos ka mag-end sa imong business. So second is the land, an account title for the site where the buildings used as office or stores is constructed. So ang land is the asset kung asa ka makatukod sa imong building. So next is the building, account title for a finished product, construction owned by the business operation and transaction took place. So, ang building is a finished product. Kani siya na asset is kung asa paghimuon ang transaction with the customer, whether it is a services or product. So, next, the equipment includes calculators, typewriters, adding machines, computers, steel filing, cabinets, and the like. So, ang equipments is kanang mga kailangan nimo sa business like calculators, computers, steel filing, cabinets, and others. Kung wala kay mga equipments, dili ka makastart sa mga business. So, letter E is the furniture and fixtures. Includes chairs, tables, counters, display cases, and the like. Some furniture and fixture, kaya ang furniture is a wood material and the fixture is the assembled equipment. So, this is also needed when you are entering a business. So, the last is accumulated depreciation. This is an asset, offset, or contra-asset account that this is called a valuation account which showed as a deduction from property and equipment. So, accumulated fixture is, I think, this kind of asset kay once a year na ni siya gina-purchase. So, next is the current assets. These are the assets that is convertible into cash within 12 months. So, first, the cash. The account title to describe money either in paper or in coins and money substitutes like check, postal money orders, bank draft, and treasury warrants. So, cash is mean in purchasing products or availing services. So, next is the petty cash fund. The account title for money placed and set aside for petty or small expenses. So, money siya is a cash kept on hand to pay minor expenses like school supplies. So, letter C is the cash equivalents. A short-term, highly liquid instruments that are readily convertible into cash and they present insignificant risk of changes in values because of changes in interest rates. So, kaning cash equivalents is composed of treasury bills, commercial bills, marketable securities, money market funds, and short-term government bonds. So, kani siya ng mga bayron is dapat mabayaran mo siya with 3 months or less. Mo na siya. So, next is the notes receivable. So, ang note receivable is a promissory note that is received by the business from the customer arising from rendering of services or sale of merchandise. So, this is a promissory note that the business received from the customer kung na sila utangon na mga products, something like ana. So, next is the accounts receivable. The account title for amounts collectible arising services rendered to a customer or client on credit or sale of a goods to customer on accounts. So, accounts receivable. Next is the estimated uncollectible account. So, this is an accounts offset or a contra-asset account. It provides for possible losses from uncollectible accounts. So, this is shown as deduction from the accounts receivable. So, next is the accrued income. The amount of income earned but not yet collected. So, ang accrued income is like anang mga utang nag-purchase sa mga customer. So, H is the advances to employees. The account title for amounts collectible from employees for allowing them to make cash advances which are deductible against their salaries or wages. So, kani siya is kanang mga cash advances sa mga employees which is ginadeduct po siya if time na sa ilahang sweldo. Letter I is the inventories. These are assets which are held for sale in the ordinary course of business or in the process of production for such sale or in the form of materials or supplies to be consumed in the production processes or in the rendering of services. So inventories is usually dyan na siya ginabuhat is monthly para less ang hago like ano sa store. Ang inventory kay kanang pag-record mo, for example January 1, record mo na siya kung unsa mo na purchase na. Then at the end of the month, which is January 31, is i-list down na po nimo kung pila na nabilin sa imuhang gi-purchase atong January 1 o pila na po na nahalin. So para makita nimo ang net income is pang i-deduct mo na nimo imong mga expenses within that month. Pero ang mga big businesses is yearly na sila naga-inventory. So, letter J is the prepaid expenses. Account title for expenses that are paid but not yet incurred or not yet expired, such as prepaid rentals. So, ang prepaid expense is ano na siya, kanang pagbayad nimo in advance like yearly bago siya mag-expire, like anong prepaid insurance. Next, last is the unused supplies. These are the account title for cost of stationery and other supplies purchased for us but are not left on hand or still unused. So, kanina siya is kapag purchase nimo pero wala siya nagamit. So, next is ang liabilities. The right hand side defined as present obligation of enterprise arising from past transactions or events, the settlement of which is expected to result in an outflow from the enterprise of resources embodying economic benefits. So, ang current liabilities is mabayaran mo siya dapat 12 months or 1 year. So, under niyo ang accounts payable. An account title for a financial obligation of an enterprise that constitute an oral or verbal promise to pay. So, kanang ano ni siya, kanang naka-financial obligation sa isa ka enterprise sa kanang tao, gihapon niya nagapirmo kwarta. So, mag-promise ka na nga bayaran nimo siya nga dapat istorya nimo siya. And verbal. The next is notes receivable, short term, same as accounts payable in nature but only the obligation is evidenced by a promissory note. Kanang manangid ka sa iya nga bayaran nimo siya pero in a promissory note ibutan mo ang kanang reason ana short term dapat ang bayaran mo siya is kanang 12 months and accrued expense. These are expenses incurred by the enterprises but are not yet paid. This normally occurs when the accounting period ended, such as rent, salaries, interest, taxes, payable, and etc. So, kanin siya is kanang mag-occur na ni siya when the accounting period is ended. The next is pre-collected or unearned income. This is an amount title for an income collected or received in advance and not yet considered as earned. So, next is the long-term liabilities, non-current liabilities. These are the liabilities which are due and payable for more than 1 year. So, under PDIAC, notes payable. Long-term, same nature with that of notes payable sa short-term but only this requires payment for more than 1 year. So, kani siya is mag-same nagyapon siya sa note payable nga short-term pero kani siya is kanang bayaran nimo siya 1 year, more than 1 year. So, next is mortgage payable, a financial obligation of that enterprise which requires a fixed or tangible property to be pledged as a collateral to ensure payment. So, ang kasagaran nagabutan is ang kanang big company before sila mag-put on trust sa isa ka tao is magpakita pag collateral ang isa ka tao. Example, is lot title. Kasagaran gina collateral is lot title man. So, next is the income or revenue. Sales. This represents revenue derived from the sale of merchandise. So, next, the service income. Account title used for all the types of income derived from rendering of services. So, kani siya is kanang income nimo from offering your services like profession. So, under niya is ang professional income. The account title generally used by the professional for income earned from the practice of their profession. So, kani siya is your overall income for your profession. So, next, the rental income. For income earned on building, space, or other properties owned and rented out by the business is the main line of its activity. So, kani siya is payment nga na-receive nimo sa customer na ma-occupy sa imong property. Next, the interest income. For income received by the business arising from an amount of money borrowed by a customer and is usually covered by promissory note. Kani siya is ma-receive nimo ni siya kung nagapabaro kag money nga na interest. Last is miscellaneous income. For income earned by the business which is not the main line of the activity. So, kani siya is income nimo received outside the typical wages. So, expenses, cost of goods sold or sell the goods. mga nagasto nimo sa pagpalit nimo goods. Next is interest expense for the amount paid from borrowed money. This is separation as deduction from operating income before arriving in net income. So kanina siya is payment sa interest na gihiram na money. Next is rent expense for the amount paid incurred for use of property, usually premises. Ano siya is bayad sa imong gi-occupy na building. Letter D is the repairs and maintenance. Ano siya is na siya mga kailangan mo i-repair sa yung building or sa mga maintenance of machineries. Letter E is stationery and office supplies expense. Supplies used in the office or in the store. Kanang mga supply nimo nga kailangan nimo sa mga office like ball pens, papers, and next uncollectible accounts for the anticipated loss of the business may incur arising from the uncollectible account. So, na chance sa ma-loss na maglugi sa kompanya ko na yung mga uncollectible accounts. Letter H is depreciation expense for the anticipated portion of the cost of property and equipment or fixed asset. Kasagaran ni kay yearly ni siya gina-purchase like ink sa printer. Next, sa taxes and licenses. Kaning taxes and licenses nature ni siya sa mga business na kailangan jud magbayad og licenses and tax or any government dues. Next is the insurance expense account title for the expired portion of the insurance premium paid. So kana siya is kanang cost the insurance expired or nagamit nimo during the current period of the manufactions of the business. So, next, the utilities expense. The account title of the telephone, light, and water bill also included is gasoline, lubricants, and oil. So, kana siya is mga water bills, electric bills. So, last is the miscellaneous expense. Any amount paid as expense which is not significant enough to warrant a particular classification. So, kana siya is an income statement account for expense items that are too insignificant to have their own separate general to ledger accounts.